Tomasz Roszko.
Hello,
Hello.
Tom Stawiński.
Tom Stowinski. Where are we, brother?
Oh, we are in Greece in Lefkada, and we just had an amazing week sailing up here in Ionian seas and the islands. Beautiful time. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it.
Man, it's been amazing. You invited me out. You told me about this. The first time you told me about these Blue Rider adventures on the seas, wind sailing, was I want to say more than a year ago when
Could be.
you first
Yes,
went. Yeah, and I thought it was super, super cool. And I finally got to experience it. It's like late October, week 43 of 52 in 2025, and I finally made it out with Tomasz Roszko. I can say we're partners in business at this point, in some ways.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we have similar businesses.
We have very similar
in some
businesses.
cases.
Mm-hmm.
It means that we are a lot of working with people. So and we're trying to show others great companies that people in Poland are good, hardworking men and women, and it's worth exploring that market for their human resources. Yes.
Absolutely. I think that's one of my favorite things about our business is being able to help great companies in the U.S. Solve a lot of their challenges and whatever ambitions, dreams they're looking to create, fulfill, and then being able to help a lot of great, talented people in Poland work for amazing companies overseas.
Absolutely.
And so over here, we got our classic timer. We're going to set this up for 60 minutes and to kind of stay on topic, on focus. We plan on creating many more podcasts in the future. You're launching Blue Rider's YouTube channel where you'll be communicating with people who are interested in what Blue Rider does. I may do something similar for Whitestone Talent, and yeah, we have similar businesses. Blue Rider helps companies more in the IT space build teams, create apps, systems, websites.
Absolutely. In other words, we help companies and founders and various businesses to solve real life problems through technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that this real life problem is really matters for us. So we are not trying to solve something that is already solved 100 times. But if we figure out that actually client has a real problem and through technology we can make his life easier or his client's life easier, then it's something definitely for us to jump on.
I love that. So yeah, that's something that's always caught my attention since first started interacting and speaking with you, is how you're not trying to solve something that's been solved 100 or times before, where that's something that you see in your business often is clients will come to you with a business idea, and the first thing you do is you tell them, you research first that product and try to find if there's not something similar or the same thing pretty much out there, where a lot of other companies in your space probably tends to be like, sure, we'll start building it as long as you pay us. And I think that's just super ethical and cool of you guys.
Yeah, because what we're trying to do, we're trying to go for like a long-term relation, and and that's the key, right? If we want to deliver true value and we want to solve the real problem, not just write the code or deliver application, whatever, right? Because application or website or I don't know, mobile application or whatever that be, or automation for your business, it's just for solving that specific problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if there is already a solution that can solve that problem, it usually do not worth to write it again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so I've spoken with your business partner, Andrew, on our last episode on your channel. And so Andrew and I went a little bit more into those details, and some more of the focus that we want to focus on today is going into a little bit of like wind sailing and the metaphor of it, maybe into our business, see how that might tie into business, and the Blue Rider name. And then one of the themes that we've had throughout this week of sailing together has been incentive structures and building and managing teams, and then um, how you can really create incentive structures that excite your people within the company, and then also help your clients succeed. And so, like when we want to scale, sometimes like English is a second language for both of our teams and people. So that's sometimes a challenge. And then um, some problems that even you guys that like who are we recording this for? We're recording this for business people that have business ideas in the U.S. or in England or in other parts of the world that are looking for partners that can um, help create their businesses and visions. And so
So why it's important for our
mm,
clients, right? So if we're recording that for our clients, why it's important for them
mm,
that we keep our people, our teams motivated, um, keep them in a company so they don't go for to work for anyone else, right? Because I guess from the client perspective, that's the most important stuff. So to our people that they spend money to get into their companies, get into their processes, learn what they do, will learn what their problems is and how to solve them. It all takes time, and if it takes time, it takes money and budget. So I guess from their perspective, it's most important to keep the most important people in a structure, right? And continue to work for them.
absolutely. And that's something that we're both trying to figure out and we're talking to. And you've been in business for 20
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
years,
I mean,
and
I yeah,
it's still something that you guys are always developing with your team, your executive team, your partners. And then we know that our clients are also thinking about these same things. So it's going to be kind of cool for because you guys can relate to this structure too within your business, and maybe get some cool takeaways and things that we've learned along the way.
absolutely.
Mm,
And it's very good point that you mentioned that actually it's continuous evolution, right?
mm,
So it's like changing. It requires reviewing. It requires new new ideas and keep going with that, right? So it's not like set it up once and for all and then you just execute. It's worth to rethink stuff because it might happen that the system you create for intensive it's not the best one from the very beginning, right?
yes, absolutely. So the system that you create from the beginning when your team's smaller may be completely different than the incentive system you have once your team's 30 people, large or small or however. And then incentives and motivation can change for people. So
Absolutely, because
mm,
also times change, right? So
mm,
for example, like few years in Poland or in entire Eastern Europe, there was,
mm,
for our biggest challenge in IT was to make sure we keep the best people in, right? So we actually should push a lot to um, make people happy in workplace, right? And
mm,
now it's not like situation changed. I mean, we still wanna make them happy to work in the company, but actually there is much less work for in other markets. So keeping people in the company is easier, right?
mm-hmm.
Um,
The market
so
has.
so my point is that the markets change, times change, situations on various you know industries changed, and that might means that you need to get back to your intensive system and
Mm.
uh, and figure out if there is still relevant for the times you are on right now.
Hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. And so, um, what brought us on to the theme of incentives this week at this time? The market has changed in Poland as far as now market for all the Western world. It seems like the economy is down. It's harder to find jobs. AI has also come into the space, which has
Absolutely.
taken jobs, and in your field more than anyone else's AI, technology, coding, website developments. You felt it tremendously, and so you're taking a look at your incentive system again as well, and like, okay, what do we need to change, do differently to continue to keep the best talent on, but also to continuously motivate talent to want to grow, to want to learn, and to produce the best results for our clients. And so I think this leads us nicely into like a deeper level. And so I've been reading a lot about Warren and Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett, the founders of Berkshire Hathaway, a large, like one of the pretty much they buy companies, they buy smaller companies, they find CEOs that have been running a great business for a long amount of time, and then through just simple incentive structures and human nature, they shift some alignment things within the company, and and then it runs. And we've kind of been tapping into their wisdom and kind of learning and seeing how we can apply some of the things that they've been seeing and saying into our businesses. And so I guess just going into some quotes, like Charlie Munger says, show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. They say that incentives and incentive structures are the most one of the most misunderstood but powerful parts of 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 business. And Charlie Munger says, I think I've been in the top 5% of my age cohort all my life in understanding the power of incentives. And still, my entire life, I've underestimated it. And what does he mean with this? That's kind of what we'll dig into. Um, and so, yeah, maybe Tom, can you tell us a little bit about like the birth of Blue Rider and when you first were starting it? Like, take us back and how you were starting the incentive systems for your first few people that you were bringing on board, and what that might have looked like then.
Okay, so I mean, we started like a long time ago, and to be honest, the first intensive, it was not clearly defined or communicate, right? So obviously I might be wrong, um, just because it's my thoughts. I'm not sure exactly what those people that are hired first was true intensive.
Mm,
Um, but back then, when we were starting, one of the programming language was Python. Python programming
mm,
language was growing a lot. Uh, it was kind of new, shiny toy. Lots of people want to try uh, learning it and get the first work as a Python programmer.
mm,
And I was lucky enough to know Python pretty well.
mm,
So when I start my company and start doing projects for others, we are mostly communicating ourselves as a Python dev team for sale. And a lot of people was coming to us because of that. So
mm.
they knew they want to grow as a software engineers in Python. And in our city, we were one of the two companies that were doing that. So wacky, no wacky, but I guess intensive, the biggest intensive was they really want to learn that specific technology, and we are one of two places that they can go to actually learn it.
Boom. And so a huge incentive, maybe 50% of what was motivating great people to come work with you was um, the ability for them to learn Python from somebody who understood it and would teach them it, plus
And they could get
pay,
like a
I'm sure.
professional experience
Mm,
and obviously paid work,
mm.
right?
Do you think that was like 50-50 when you were getting those first people? I know it's hard to speak for them, but your gut instinct?
Yeah, well, so my instinct is that most of them really want to work with Python,
Mm-hmm.
just this programming language. That was cool stuff for them to explore more, do more with Python.
Mm-hmm.
Then for many many years, we heard a lot about atmosphere in the company. That is very casual and flexible, and but still they realize they need to do their work
Responsible
and
still.
yes, yes, yes. But the atmosphere was one of the biggest point that everyone was making, that it was so cool to work with.
Mm-hmm. So you had a back in the earlier
Oh,
2000s.
so we start like 2009
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
as
mm,
a company, right?
got it.
Before that,
Mm,
I was software engineer myself.
love it, love it. And back in those days, in 2009 through 2020, I'm sure, working for a relaxed company where you dress kind of casual, etc.
Yeah, there's
Was
tons
work
of
from home an option back then,
absolutely all the time. So
even as early as 2000?
from the very beginning, like
Nice. Mm,
the office was always optional. Like you
mm,
want to come to office, it's more than I'm more than happy that you are, so we can communicate, so we can know each other and spend a great time working and having fun.
mm.
But that was not like a demand. Um, we
And
we
you've kept it that way still, where we were
Yes,
talking a little bit about how you think within your team today, how can we incentivize our team to come and want to work in the office?
absolutely. I don't think we
Mm,
should like force them to get back to office or force them to start coming into office. It's same as with the clients. We want to show them that it's actually good for them to come to the office, right? So they can be more productive, they can deliver more, they can focus more. But it's not for everyone. Some people, they actually are much more productive if they are alone and they have quiet environment and nobody disturb them. And for us, as soon as they deliver what we expect, that's fully okay.
So, for all the people listening right now that are business owners that have large teams that have been in business for many years, and they hear um, the argument of working from home, and they've felt or they've seen people take advantage of it. Um, where Charlie and Warren, they would say something along the line of, if you want to see how somebody would behave, like check their incentives. So if they're working from home and they're getting paid, like, some, like they would say, don't look at the human. Sorry, I'm just gonna find my notes here.
That's fine.
Um, but I know I took a cool note somewhere here, where they wanted to talk about people's laziness.
Hmm.
Um, about the, Okay, so before you blame people for being lazy, uninspired, or creative, Munger would tell us, don't look at people's statements or jobs descriptions, look at their incentives. They'll tell you the truth. And so I'm curious, like, how you feel for your early days within the company where you had people working from home. Do you think you had an incentive structure that would still have those people working from home and still getting the work done outside of just flat pay per month? Did you have
Well, first of all, like working home from home might be one of the intensive
incentives? Okay.
incentives. Yes, absolutely. So that might be one of the incentives because you might wanna you might live outside of the main town and or a countryside and things like that. Travel to office is long road and you have like other things also to do.
And so you're
So
grateful just for that. So you don't want to take advantage of.
maybe not like I would change the work for that, but I would not accept other offer if they would not give me possibility to also work from my home, right?
Love that.
So probably that's one of the thing. Um, Now, but getting back to your question, what was that exactly?
So, like the incentive structure when you were hiring those first people that were working from home
Yeah.
at Blue Rider, um, were they incentivized to
Oh,
complete a
okay.
project or something that was pushing them more and beyond to
Yeah.
just do base level or
Yeah,
talk?
absolutely. So, like our biggest, first of all, like all the projects are delivered based on the software development life cycle that we developed and with Anjay. So Anjay was a big brain on that. How to deliver software fast, but also with good quality and software that actually respond to the problem that clients define, right? So give him solution that he really wants, right? And we basically go with the structure where we um, organize the work in sprints, in tickets, and we have various tools to manage and organize that work. And but the entire work is delivered by the team, and the team is responsible for delivering that, and the team, get the reward if they deliver it, and they're the
Th-
other way around. If they do not deliver, entire team is like blamed for it, right? And
So that's what I'm curious about.
so getting back to individual
Mm.
engineer working within the team. So if someone working from home or from the office, actually doesn't matter, constantly not deliver what he promised to deliver, the team will point that
Out.
team
Yeah.
member by themselves, right? So
Mm.
um, that's the entire idea, right? Unless entire team is lazy, but I didn't find
Hmm.
such teams in
Yeah.
my time.
You've never seen that exactly. And so, okay, so you've got a system. It sounds like where as you take on a project for a client,
Yeah.
you'll talk to your team. You'll put the team together. You make sure they understand it. They research what the client wants. They start getting to know each other, right?
Yep.
And I know you've talked about the importance of doing like a thorough um, like research and briefing that a lot of clients don't really like or understand fully.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I mean, we need to research and understand exactly what the client needs, right? Because otherwise, if we'll, that's the first point, right? If we'll not understand what clients wants, then we might deliver something quickly with good quality, but it turns out that that's not what the client expects. So making sure, and then sure we can fix that and make changes, but it's that's a bigger cost, right?
Mm.
So if we make sure that at the very first step that we exactly understand what the client means, that's the way to go.
Where do you lose clients here where they're like, hey man, I just created, I don't want to lose time with the research or you understanding me?
Um, can you rephrase that? Not sure I get it.
So we were speaking a few days ago where you were
Yeah.
speaking about how a lot of clients will get a little bit frustrated
Oh,
with like, what do you mean we should, um, we got to do all these like tests and back checking that,
yeah.
what do you call that again?
Yeah, so
Mhm.
the first step is like, because I call it like overall understanding the client needs, right?
Mhm.
Or defining the problem and what client expect, right?
And
But actually we have a process for that, to how to do it,
mm,
because we need to repeat that, and when we scale we need to make sure we have we need to have a way to learn people how to do it. So there's an entire process for that, and we have specified by us templates of various documents. So first step is creating a feature specs. And feature spec is actually a document that firstly defines all the requirements from the client, starting from defining use cases, and they are very like detailed use cases, giving like, give us a name, give us a job position of the user that your application will serve for, like what he's doing, when, how, and things like that. So we understand the context of client. Then we gather all the requirements in terms of if there's any security requirements. Should we pay special attention for specific data, or if those some data are regulated in some way, right? Performance. So for example, there are applications that where you need to process thousands of documents, right? But what does it mean? You need to process it within a minute or 24 hours, right? That's a huge difference when you
mm,
develop the solution, right?
mhm,
So there are plenty of that points that
mhm,
with the client we need to figure out, right? And most of the work we are actually taking to us, right? We hear the client, we have a various calls, um, just listen, trying to listen, and then we put those documents and sending to the client or sharing with the client and asking if that's something that you have in mind.
mhm.
Do we understand you correctly?
And when the client says yes, that's right,
Yes,
then you
exactly.
guys go
But
into.
typically there are force
Mm.
and back, right? So there are various comments on those points, and with clarifications. And as soon as we say, yeah, it's good to go,
Mm.
then project manager, who is person that is most of the time connected with the client, um, put this future spec into smaller tasks. We call it user stories.
Mm.
So put that into tasks where software engineer team can grab it and start implementation, right?
Okay. Beautiful. So from here, you speak to the clients and
Yep.
you hear everything they want. You give them the feature specs back. The conversation starts going. And one thing that surprised me when you were telling me about this a few days ago was that oftentimes clients will want to add a lot of features that they don't realize can be actually very heavy uh, for them later on. And
Yeah.
so you'll challenge them on a lot of these things, which
Yeah.
in itself can sometimes be challenging because you guys might get super excited about a certain feature, and then Tom will challenge you about like, hey, are you sure you really need this? Or Tom's project manager will, and
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and part of the future spec is actually also clarifying if that feature is really needed, right? Because if we will spend time defining all of that, our brilliant idea that we have at the beginning might turns out to be not so good. And reading all of that, you might figure out actually that's an issue and that's the problem, and and maybe it will not work, right? So maybe I think about it twice or three times or four times. I will rethink it before even single line of code is made, right?
can you
Um,
give me a little bit of like a deeper example of something like that might be heavy like that, for like a heavy feature that a client would request that?
yeah, sure. So
Hmm.
for example, there was we had a client that was he was a personal trainer
Okay.
on one of the gyms, and he wants to have his own he wants to have his own application with the training plans and diets and healing the injuries that you have through the training. And first of all, we said to them that, hey, man, there's tons of apps that already are there. You probably can get a license. We give him a list. And and he figured that out, that okay, that's true, right?
Hmm.
So he go with something else and don't start implementation, but actually he save lots of money
Instead of starting to
instead of
develop this app.
starting
Yeah.
developing it. Yeah.
Hmm.
But even if you have already an application and we are supporting you, um, you might get into the new feature idea
Hmm.
that just your client's not going to use. It will not get response from your clients.
Hmm.
Uh,
And talk to us a little bit. Sorry for
no
going into
worry.
there, but what are like some of the costs of adding sometimes a feature like that your clients will not
Oh,
use?
that might be tens of thousands of dollars.
Why? How?
Well, because the first step, we need to figure out how it needs to be done. What's the problem? We need to define a feature
So
spec.
that's time,
That's time.
energy.
Then
Mm.
we need to put that into specific user stories, and this is where the coding start.
Mm.
So time of the developer, time of the QA, it's to test it, time to release it. So that's one. That's just the implementation.
Mm.
But then there are other costs, right? If you were wrong with the future spec,
You thought this feature,
with
yeah.
your future, if you were wrong with
Mm.
your future idea, and clients are not going to use it,
Yeah.
then
You're like, oh, that would be cool. And you go down this path of creating this like little feature that you think is nothing, but this actually compounds because there's a lot more
yeah,
once you start going down that
yeah,
path. That
and we
mm.
will release that. So
Mm.
that's one of the cost
Mm.
implementation. Let's say called just implementation, but
Mm.
then you need to maintain that. So it
Maintain it.
maintain it, yes,
Mm.
because we
What do you
keep
mean? It's done. It's coded. What's there to maintain?
well, yeah, but then there are other features that you put. But before releasing, we need to make sure we don't break other features that were there already before. So we need to do regression tests. And the more features you have, the regression time is longer.
Ah.
Even if we automate big part of that, it's still.
Mm.
And also when we also very often features are connected. So when we develop another feature, it's somehow connected to the previous one. And
Mm.
it complicates application,
Yeah.
it
If
complicates
something
stuff.
glitches
We need
or
to
there's
remember
more
about
things to look through,
exactly,
etc.
right? So what we also advise, and it's part of the future spec actually, is to make sure we put some KPIs around that feature to make sure that actually this feature is successful. Because if it's not, it's better to remove it to simplify the application, to reduce the time of development team to figure out all the connections, to reduce the time of QA checking that every single time when there is a regression happening. So that's also put all of the costs. So even if it's completed, if feature is not used or it's not success, it's better to remove it.
I love that. I mean, I know that Charlie and Munger would tell us like, let's go simplify, 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 keep it as simple as possible. And that's something that they always, always pushed for in their businesses. And so thank you, Tom. Thank you for taking the time to
You're
explain
welcome.
the heaviness of adding something that might seem like a cool little feature that might not be necessary, and then all the complexities that are added around it with having to go back, find glitches, etc. Just making everything heavier and clunkier, etc. So, so yeah, Blue Rider will challenge you like, hey, are you sure? You sure you need this? Because
And that's also the question for us to understand, right? Like why you think it's a good idea. So we get the context, because if we get the context, we might have an idea that will help client do it faster, right? Because if we don't know the context, then it's like, okay, we'll cut whatever you want.
Yeah.
But we know technology, know what we can use, how we can use, and it might happen if we don't know the context, we might pick up the wrong tools to develop something, right?
And
Even
if you find a software house that you're talking to that right away they tell you yes, 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 green light to everything, and they're not challenging you or throwing up red flags or all these things, not pointing out dragons or elephants under carpets and stuff, then that's probably a bad thing that you're getting yourself into.
could be, yes, absolutely could be. In general, I think that like being partner, a good partner, is not saying yes. It's and it's not only in business, right? In real life as well, right? If our closest partner will not say, well, you do it wrong, or you could do better, or that's not something that I would like you to do because XYZ, and we talk about it and we find a good solution. So that's for me a good partnership. For me, someone is always I hear yes from someone, it's like, yeah, I mean, probably it's not a trustworthy yes.
Exactly, exactly. You're not improving as much, and that's kind of partners, friends. That's like what good friends and partners are for, to tell each other where, hey, maybe you're not living up to your potential, or think through this together, and
Exactly.
etc. Okay, so Tom, I wanted to pull it back a little bit into when we were speaking about once a project manager or an engineer, they pull it back into the incentives.
Sure.
So we were talking about the individual engineer and the project manager, and so like we get a project now. The project manager hears what you want. You guys, everyone really understands, and you go with it. Now, how do you incentivize an individual engineer that joins that project manager's team to create something? That project manager will then speak with them to ask them, by when do you think you could get X, Y, Z?
Yeah, so actually it's a big role of the project manager. So in our company, project manager actually serve multiple roles, and they're very, very important. So first they communicate with the client, they write down all the specs, and they explain team to how what we need to develop, what we need to deliver. But also they take care of the team in terms of their personal growth and incentives. So they need to figure out like what's really important for them, right? And obviously expect like good salary and just money wise stuff. There's a bunch of other things, right? We mentioned already example from the beginning, which was like learning Python, right? But now there are also many new technologies, and some of the team members, they looking to learn specific things. So they might ask, oh, okay, I like the company, I like the atmosphere, but actually in my professional career, I would like to learn, I don't know, AWS cloud, right? And in my current projects, I don't have that availability. So I want to either change a project or change a company because I really care about AWS, right? So that's one of the things. So project manager also listen to that, and in and
Identifies the human,
identify what
what's important to that person.
to that
Mm.
person, but also like being specific about the technology, what kind of technology he wants to go with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we also define a career path in terms of technology skills for our devs and for our QAs, for all our team members, like what we expect them to know in terms of skill sets on various levels and various positions. Um, what we notice is that especially young people, they don't necessarily know at the beginning of their work where they want to move with their career, or they know kind of, but they don't really because they don't have experience yet.
Mm.
So that's one of the things, and I think it's still valid, like because someone want to grow in a very specific direction in terms of technology.
Mm-hmm.
I heard, maybe not in our company, but I know at least few people that for them a good incentive was to being recognizable on the industry, right? So they want to travel, they want to go to conferences, they want to become speakers, and they doing good speech. So they really enjoying that, doing that, and they happy if company provide them with the opportunity to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Some others which are more uh, grow up, so they are 40 age plus, they have kids, and they have stable families, and what they prefer most is like, well, leave me at that project where I was for the last 5 years. I don't want to kind of new challenges. I'm good where I am right now. um,
Just want stability.
I want a
Mm.
stability, and that's a super good thing for them. They don't want to change, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, that's okay
Mm-hmm.
because we can use them as a really great resources in projects that they already know because they know it like nobody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's proof of cons for that, but that's all right, right? So yeah, and
What?
project manager need to identify that
Mm-hmm.
because they work with them very closely every single day, right?
Mm-hmm.
I also find a good way of actually finding what people care about at very casual situations. Like we have a CrossFit group,
Mm-hmm.
um, and the best and most trustful sentences that I get from my team members is very often after the training in the locker room, where we just have, we are super tired, and but we are feeling very good in terms of like our mindset.
Yeah.
uh,
Chemicals post
yeah,
workout. Yeah.
yeah, and then there's like very open conversations, like all the bad and good stuff are coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good environment, right? So sometimes it's like, yeah, let's organize a trip, let's organize the event, um, and then it's easier to relax and not be so.
Yeah, formal all the time and
Absolutely.
professional. Yeah, and you get to the real things and solve the real challenges. And yeah, and having a partner that takes the time to go out with the people that are working on your projects and to hear the things that they want to be working on, and so that they're coming into your projects with passion, etc. That's something that's probably undervalued when companies look for um, partners that are going to be outsourcing or working on their whatever it is, projects or babies in the sense of their businesses, etc. Okay, so we've identified a lot of ways to incentivize teams here throughout this conversation already, where it's um, probably the biggest one, and maybe not the biggest, but a bulk of it is monetary, financial pay,
I do
right?
believe it's the main one.
Mm-hmm. And then I suppose while we're on that main one, do rewards or bonuses for if they hit a project within a deadline or to client standards, like maybe?
Yeah, so
Mm,
we have a system uh, where we actually reward our employees every single year,
mm,
and it's based on their evaluation results. So it's a process where their friends from work share feedback about their work. Project managers share feedback about their work, and which is most important, themselves share feedback about their work and what they think. Then all of that is reviewed by the like all project managers in the company and our head of development. In and based on those feedbacks, they decide on if they did very good, good, uh, or not good.
Mm-hmm.
And based on that, there are salary increases basically every single year, unless situation in the company is not great, or I don't know, we're losing clients and things like that. Then obviously
Economy's rough, etc.
economy is rough. Then obviously we'll say no. At this time, it's also possible to jump to another level. So basically becoming from junior to regular, from regular to senior.
So promotion is another way to get.
Promotion, and then you immediately jump to another, like a bucket in terms of salary. So that's the fastest way, basically, to increase, right? And to get a promotion, you need to get few good or very good evaluation results, and you also need to complete all the skill sets required for a specific level.
Promotion, or
So becoming
skill sets.
senior software engineer, you need to have specific skill sets that are defined before. And we continuously to update that, but that's something that you get, right?
Yeah, because like you said, it's something that you're always working on and developing and improving.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So few evaluations passed and a set amount of skill sets is how people can level up and grow within the company now. And so I suppose, Thomas, is there anything else you want to communicate to clients right now on the topic?
I think because our employees, they obviously identify with BlueRider.Software, but they also identify with the project they're working with. And I think that's also what Andrzej mentioned in the previous podcast, where he said that it's very it's very important to see each other, even not often, but time to time, and especially if team works on projects that are, they feel changing something in the world. They feel that they really solving not only real life problem but important problem, right? So that's also a huge motivation and incentives. So for example, we had a project where we work for the autistic Mexico foundation, and there was an app to help autistic people and their parents or their just families, to support them where they were, I don't know, having a panic attack or something like that in the middle of a crowded place. So if you work on something like that, that's like there is also additional incentives, right? Because you're solving something that
It's
makes
good
the
for the
world
world.
a
Yeah,
better
helps
place,
people.
right? So for owners, founders, CEOs that are our clients, it's super important to get this mission to the team, right? So and stick to that mission. So if you wanna make I don't know, automation for legal market, let like tell the story that also motivates, right? Like why solving this problem will make the world a bit better place, right? Because I don't know, your clients will be able to pay less for the legal service, but still legal company will take more profit because they are faster, but they can reduce the price for you, for the end user, right? So someone that is in tough situation can you know
Have access.
have get a good use of it, right?
Love that. Love that so much. Thomas, I'm kind of curious. So, for me, I've been recently kind of been exploring this system that Warren and Charlie
Mm-hmm.
have been creating for incentives, and I don't have it thoroughly flushed out. So this part of the podcast might get a little bit messy, but I'm
No worry.
wondering if if we could explore this thing that I've kind of been learning and trying to discover together, and seeing if we could somehow apply or see if we could get some cool takeaways from it together, and almost doing it for us. Um, and
Let's
so
do it.
cool. So pretty much what I've been trying to figure out is within our companies and businesses how we can create an incentive system like Warren and Charlie talk about, where you kind of create the incentive system, say the outcome or like the thing you're looking to get done, and then you let your people fly, and there's no more um, need. Like Warren and Charlie, they don't micromanage their CEOs or their companies very much, um, and so they do this very well. And so I've been kind of experimenting here, and so I kind of created this ladder over here, and I'm trying to get it lined up where we have it kind of with divisions and teams, where different divisions are able, and everybody's got this aligned kind of goal to help each other, like different teams and divisions are helping each other to get to accomplish the ultimate goal, which could maybe be a project or be making more money or be serving customers better. And um, so uh, I created one for my really good friend's company that I help out a lot with, called Freight Caviar, where Freight Caviar is their kind of mission, or their business is to tell the most trusted, funny, educational stories in the freight industry. They want to build a loyal audience, delivering real value to sponsors and creating a body of work that everyone on the team and people will be proud to look back on 80 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the challenges has been to how do you get people to be pushing, they kind of push from themselves to go above and beyond, maybe to get certain things done, versus the leaders always having to kind of um, direct people on how to do this. And I don't know if you have so much of that as a problem for you guys, because it seems like the feature spec thing that you do at the beginning with your clients helps a lot.
Well,
Mm,
well, it helps define what we need to do, right?
mm,
But uh, even if software engineers know what they need to do, it doesn't mean they are motivated to do it,
mm-hmm,
right? So, but motivation comes from various things, right? So, money, they just receive money for their work, and
mm,
that's like, and they need money to live, right? So
mm,
that's the first stuff. And if they don't deliver, there might be fired, right? If they constantly not delivered. So
mm,
that's the most easy motivation, right? Um, but most of our people, if not all, um, they are they're feeling responsible for what they do, and and they wanna deliver a good work. Then they fill the projects, and we're also trying to assign people to the right projects. So they kind of feel that industry, feel that problem. We have a good example. So last actually it's even like 2 3 months ago, a client from the music industry joined us to develop some specific algorithm, um, to um, to do, like, I can't say much to be honest about it, but it do various stuff with music files basically.
mm,
And we first of all we thought about, okay, who is good at music in our company, right? And we make some moves within the
mm,
projects
mm,
to make sure that to that one actually we get someone who understands music,
Mm-hmm.
and all of those devs that are working there are musicians by themselves,
Boom.
and they communicate with the client clearly, precisely, and they give ideas because they know that.
Boom.
And for them it's real motivation, because music is their hobby. They playing various bands, and in work they are doing something for their hobby.
Related to music too. Yeah.
And then it's like you don't really need to much
Perfect. Yeah.
motivate them.
They love what they're doing. Yeah, yeah. And it's such a great match right there, being able to find that and
Exactly.
provide that and make those changes happen, which sometimes also might not be super easy,
Yeah,
right?
but to do that
Mm.
match, you need to know that two of your people or three of your people, they're actually
Mm.
playing in the band, this one in guitar, that one on percussion, and they actually are perfect match for this project, not because they know certain skills. That's obvious, right?
Mm-hmm.
From like technical point of view,
Yeah.
but also from hobby point of view.
Yes,
So you
absolutely.
need to
So you need
meet
to
with
know your
them, you need to
people
talk.
too. And
Exactly.
if you're just in a suit and tie setting all the time, you won't know that necessarily.
Exactly.
Which is something super cool with Blue Rider. Like, you guys organize amazing events with your teams where you guys go to saunas together, you'll CrossFit together, we'll do parties out in nature together, we're playing volleyball together. You're taking people yachting, and like really getting to know your team and your leaders on a higher level.
But
And
then you can get a
mm,
good match, and then you can understand what motivates them, and
boom, you can
yeah.
figure out what motivates them and get them on those projects and getting that accomplished
Sure,
more.
but that's also
Mm,
possible because our intention is not to grow and have
mm,
hundreds of people.
mm.
I really want to know. I want to be a good friend with
Everyone that you work with.
everyone that I work with,
Mm,
and I think that times are very good for our tactics and
mm,
our strategy around that, because it looks like every single month going forward we will be able to deliver more and more with the people that we have. We don't need to scale to hundreds to deliver more stuff because
mm,
of the
mm.
AI, because of the speed of delivering things, and that could help us a lot,
Yeah.
delivering more work with the same capacity in terms of number of people.
You could be like we're in Greece right now. You could be like the 300 Spartans who fended off thousands.
Could be, could be, could be.
Yes. I love that. I love that so much. Um, okay, so if you could help explore this concept with me,
Sure.
Tom. So like how I've been thinking about having this is creating a incentive pool for different divisions, starting with the division that's um, closest to the money, which is clients paying us, whoever's paying us. So for a caviar, it will be sponsors that are advertising on our newsletter and on our Instagrams, posts, etc. Um, but it gets a little challenging there because right under that is the audiences, our entire audience that watches it, and sponsors would not be there if we didn't have that um, there. And so
Yeah,
that
the
kind of makes,
chicken egg problem.
yeah, chicken egg problem. And so for us here with sticking to this example, it's going to be sales slash sponsors, and the person, that division, or the person that's responsible for the division, so the leader of that, which would be like Nell. And so we're thinking about what's like a great incentive structure that we could create for Danelle that would each quarter have her kind of be extra, like she's already amazing, motivated, like she's doing everything, like there's like, maybe some would say there's no reason to even think of an incentive system because she's already doing such amazing work, everything's amazing, and like she's happy, but like how can we reward people to go above and beyond even more, to
Sure.
like the way Charlie and Warren would be, like to make their people think like owners, behave like owners of companies as well. And so um, I've been kind of thinking, okay, so like if we created like a incentive system of the sales department is the first rung on the ladder, and if that rung fills 100% of sales capacity, so we have all our slots, say we have 10 sponsor slots for the quarter, and we get all 10 of them filled at X price, which is our standard price that we do
Mm-hmm.
every year, that's what we get. But if we figure out a way to sell at a higher price this year, and here's like something with the incentives where you could get it wrong, but right. But if you say like we have a set goal of, for simplicity's sake, say 100,000 this quarter, and sales figures out a way to do 150,000 by increasing the price for whatever, then maybe on that extra money they could get a percentage bonus,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Um, and so at first that sounds amazing, but maybe could be a little bit troublesome because maybe clients are going to be like, what the heck, why are you charging me more just because they want to charge more and stuff. So like there needs to be a system of checks and balances of
Yeah.
that, right? So let's just stick to like, okay, sell out all of these slots by this date and then at this price, so we got all these sold. Great. That's going to be sales. Sales hits their goal. The next category will be like, so what are the goals of Freight Caviar for the quarter? We want to launch a magazine this year and get the first draft of a newspaper magazine out to people's hands and have something physical that we
Mm-hmm.
can see and touch. And so, um,
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
yeah, it's awesome, and it's something
But it's
that's
all it's getting back in time.
it's getting back, going back in time
Going
in a
back in
lot of
time.
ways. Yeah,
Yeah.
because everything's going technology this way.
And digital, right?
Yeah, and we
So
have all of that in digital. Like we're already doing news on the email newsletter. We're doing the Instagram. We're doing the YouTube podcast videos and news,
so who
right?
will buy that magazine?
Who will buy the magazine? Exactly. And so we have a lot of clients that are brokerages that people are working in an office and they have lounge areas, hangout areas where like magazines like this could lay around in these areas.
Okay.
And so a lot of our sponsors will have companies with
Got it.
large amounts of people. So then maybe people that have been on podcasts, they'll probably want to buy it. But yeah, I don't know if a client, I think those are probably the clients that would buy them, the companies that have, 400, 500 people in an
Yeah.
office that come into the office and you could see the Get magazine and the employees there could
Yeah.
then be cool, pick it up and see.
Yeah, makes
Um,
sense. And
mm,
sorry for the distraction.
yeah,
I was
not at all.
but that's my kind of like you put that
Absolutely.
idea. I
Yeah.
thought that okay, so a few years,
Mm,
a few years, 20 years ago, I was
mm.
working in like the for the one of the biggest Polish magazine as a
Really?
software engineer,
Oh, way.
and it was
Mm.
all back then. We already digitalized most of it,
Yeah,
right? And I
yeah.
was like, okay, so
Why would anyone make a physical
exactly.
anymore?
So
Yeah.
immediately was like
Hmm.
interest, right? Like
Yeah.
okay, so that's why.
It's interesting, and we don't know if it's going to work.
Uh,
We think, we've already released that we're going to be creating this one, and we asked if anyone would subscribe, and like we put out a price of
yeah,
$200 per year,
yeah,
and we'll have four editions, and this is the beginner price, so getting it early, right?
yeah.
And we got a few people that have already signed up and ordered. Um, but anywho, the challenge here was, all right, we already have the business and running the entire business, and everyone's already capped up with all their things. How are we going to fit a magazine into this big project of creating a magazine and putting articles in there and getting extra, reaching out to people to write like things in there and
Yeah.
creating the pictures and everything, like
And make
just
it regular, right?
and make it
So
regular, right?
yeah,
So every quarter to be doing this,
yeah,
like we already got a shit ton of work. How are we going to do this?
yeah,
And so, but if we could create a good incentive system, get the right person on the project that they're like, now like it's worthwhile for them to do it, then okay, you'll get your base pay plus you'll get a like say 10% of the revenue or something, top line revenue or
yeah,
that the magazine might create.
yeah.
Then that person will like, oh, that now it becomes like a big thing. And so we
Absolutely, but there are still
mhm.
difficulties related to that.
Yes, there's still difficulties to creating it, and they can't do it alone. But
Yeah,
here's where the ladder gets interesting. So we've got the sale, the bottom rung of our like newsletter normal part of the business. Then we've got our next project, the magazine project.
yeah,
And so if we just create the first version of the magazine this quarter
yeah,
and we just sell our base amount, then the person that owns the project and is leading it, they get their base for doing the work. They'll get a bonus for being able to deliver the project by X amount of time, and they'll get a percent of commission on sales or of whatever. Plus, that could be their incentive,
Hmm.
and it unlocks. And then there's a team reward also that's tied with it, which will be a magazine for everybody on the team.
Yeah.
Um, so sales, say sales hits, but the magazine, no one will get this magazine, and the owner of this big reward magazine will not get their reward, their bonus, unless the people under it. We've hit an hour, but I think we could go a little bit longer, 15 minutes.
That's right.
But unless the people in sales don't hit their goal,
Hmm.
the people on the magazine project, the leader of the magazine project and the entire team, they won't get their reward.
Yeah.
And then after that, you've got like the HR. And HR can't get their bonus unless the sales and this team don't get their bonus. And we don't want to make it something so hard and difficult to
Yeah.
create that it's impossible to hit.
Yeah.
But we also don't want to make it where it's just base standard.
Super
Like,
easy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a little bit of growth to push forward to a little bit more. Where it also ties everybody on the team and all the divisions and departments to be helping each other
Yeah.
to accomplish their thing, because that the individual person gets a reward. If it's a project manager with a couple of people on their team, they might be like their reward, they might take the reward maybe and split up a
Yeah.
little bit of their reward with the people on their team,
Yeah.
so that the people on their team are more motivated to push it.
Yeah.
The entire company gets a reward if they hit it, and you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah, yeah. What I like in that system
Mhm.
is that actually there's a big part around the teamwork, right?
Exactly.
Because
Mhm.
at BlueRider, at some point, we have an issue with like those individual goals and getting into specific metrics, making sure that your KPIs of delivery
And everyone's just
are
looking at themselves, kind of like, I gotta hit my
yeah,
work, I gotta hit my
yeah.
work, and there's no incentive to help anybody else.
Exactly, exactly.
Mm.
And we saw that issue, right? We saw that issue. We changed that. We move away a bit from metrics, and yeah, because we start hearing from people like, okay, I can't really help you in that project because I have my own KPIs to deliver because
Mhm.
like right. So
Mhm. Now,
giving
if we
that
could
idea,
tie, like,
yeah,
hey, if this team hits their target on this project, then this team will also get they'll get the company will get this bonus, for example, and then this team has the opportunity to get their bonus,
yeah,
right? And I don't know how the
and
order of how you'd stack it per
sure.
project, right?
Sure.
Mm.
So now it's like getting into details, but
Mm.
in general, the system looks promising
Mm.
because you push for the team, but you also give
Mm.
rewards for individuals.
Mm.
Now, if it's gonna work, it really relates to not the system itself, I believe, but
Mm.
to rewards
The rewards.
and
Mm.
intensives, right?
Yeah.
Incentives.
Mm.
Like so, if the team will make it like will make it with the magazine, so what that's going to be like what they will
Mm.
get, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
even if that's something that will truly motivate them, because if
exactly.
not, well,
Then
it's just a system.
yeah, and
I
then
mean,
they won't hit the goal, and then everybody might be like, "Oh, we didn't hit the goal because this person didn't care to hit it a little bit or something."
exactly, right.
Mm-hmm.
And and I believe like within the very small teams, unless you expect to scale fast, uh, within the very small teams, I mean, if you know your people,
Mm.
you probably don't need like
Mm.
super complicated or even simple system
Yeah.
because you just know your people.
Mm.
Um, but whenever you're growing even a bit, the systems are helpful, and it's also built, I guess, some kind of transparency and manage expectations and things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but again, most important to get a good reward system and to motivate them.
Yeah.
Well, you need to know them.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Absolutely. Um,
So sauna, CrossFit, other activities, it just help you to get know your people.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
being like honest, open, talk with them. I mean,
Listening.
listening. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. One incentive we were thinking about, somebody on the team who their family lives in another country, and so maybe like if we hit this goal, it could be like a little bit of a financial bonus,
Yeah.
but also the company will pay for a flight for your person, for your
Absolutely.
parents to come.
I
And
told you what
yeah.
I will tell you the
Mm.
story about one of the incentives that actually was used not against me, like for
On
me,
you, for you,
on you,
for you. Yeah,
for
it should
me.
be for you, not
So
yes.
like
Because this makes it more fun for everybody, you know?
yeah, but that was very very cool, and that was precise example of awesome incentive. So one of the I was a CTO in one of the company that was the client of BlueRider, and they grow, they get a big Series A, um, they get a good funding, and one of the investors was, and I was CTO there as well.
Hmm.
In
So you were the owner of Blue Rider,
Yeah,
and,
and we
and
were
you were
working.
also CTO for your client here
Yeah,
to
because
help them because you're advising, they trust you.
first 2 years we were just developing the work for them,
Mm-hmm.
but then they grow and they wanted to tight us a bit more,
Mm-hmm.
and we wanted to, because we believe in that project. We
Mm-hmm.
actually believe in like
Many, almost all
many
your projects you
projects that
take
we're
on.
doing, right?
Yeah.
So so we are open to that, more than open, right? That's actually our strategy, right? To
Mm-hmm.
find projects that we believe in, that's solving real life problem, and we merge them. We're much more into working on products than just scaling up to get more people and get better margin and things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was CTO there after many years of knowing each other, and investor said, well, I need Tom to be you here as much as possible because we are in that stage, and we just need that, and I'm going to do a lot to keep you in, right? And what he did, he actually traveled here many times, and he get know my family. He knows what my kids are doing on, and and my oldest son back then was very trying to become another Lewandowski, right?
Okay.
So he wanted to play soccer, and he did. He played soccer for many years, and one of
Michael.
Michael,
Mm-hmm.
exactly, and now he's working in BlueRider.
Mm-hmm.
But back then he
Michael's gonna be helping edit this and produce these and
absolutely
help with the marketing and getting
absolutely
our message and stories out. So
absolutely
shout out Michael.
and and he get know, like the investor knows that Michael want to be a Lewandowski, and things will get very quick because it turns out that he also know some big C-level executive at Bayern Munich,
Oh wow.
and it ends up Michael being for a week in Munich doing training with his age team, and
Perfect.
we were asked to
Mhm.
join the senior Bayern Munich game,
Mhm.
and we were in the like a VIP section, and we get no C-level executives of Bayern, and we had occasion to visit locker room and like with players, and oh,
Amazing.
trust me, that was huge incentive
Yes.
for me to
To
like,
want to
oh,
help them as well.
I want to
Yeah.
help you. You
Yeah.
just make
My
one of my son dream
dreams
come
come true.
true, right?
Yeah. Amazing.
I want to do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Michael get also good incentives to learn German,
Boom.
because in the
Mhm.
locker room when he was training with those like German kids, he didn't understand the word. So
Oh
that
wow.
was huge incentives for
To
him
go more serious in
I want
school,
to go more
etc.
for German, right?
And things are dominoing in a positive direction
So
on
that
all
was
fronts.
like, yeah, he get know me,
Mm-hmm.
and he know what really will hit me on.
Mm-hmm. Incredible. It knows how to listen. It all starts with listening, right?
Hmm. And sometimes, as you said, sometimes it's not money,
Mm-hmm.
because I couldn't get any money
You're
to
already
to
doing well
organize that.
financially, everything, and
I
yeah,
couldn't do that.
you couldn't even pay for it.
I couldn't even pay for it.
Exactly, exactly, and then the time, the resources, energy, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, phenomenal, phenomenal. Incentives, human nature, business. Um, for anybody that liked this, that learned something, are interested in learning more, where can they reach out, hear from you, talk to you, pitch their ideas, pick your brain?
More than open to talk.
Okay,
I
just
like talking.
mm.
Sometimes too much, but I like talking.
Just leave a comment on these videos. Is there an email they can send?
Absolutely. I think we'll put that all into the
Description,
description or
etc.
comments, right? So no worry.
Phenomenal.
And by the way, Tom, I do believe that with your system, we need to get into that a bit more deeper.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe some sauna episode next week, because we just touch it. We briefly
Yes, we
touch it,
just touched
and
this.
we talk about it when driving here to Greece
Mhm.
by an hour or more.
Yeah.
Just on that, right?
Yes.
So I believe that's something to share, definitely.
Yeah, I think there's something so cool, and I really want to see if we can implement it a little bit, a version of it into BlueRider. I want to implement it into Freight Caviar.
Yeah.
I want to implement it into my teams at with the Hot Takes Sauna
Yeah.
podcast, and I want to test how it works. And then if it starts working, I want to start sharing it with other people, because I've combined like I'm combining really knowledge from like that I'm discovering and learning from people like Dan Martell, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, and then case studies to see how it actually works.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. Take care, man.
amazing, phenomenal conversation. I learned a lot and can't wait for the next one. Let us know what you guys liked, what we want to hear more of, and Blue Riders signing out.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Boom. Godzinka 15 minut,
Bardzo
niecałe,
ładnie.
więc idealnie.